The biggest secret to writing a good awards submission is to have actual cut-through creative work that at the same time also drove real results. You might think that this is quite obvious, but you'd also be surprised how often you actually see submissions and papers that are trying to make a case out of nothing or make a case out of thin air. To me, even the best writing won't help you if there's really no case in the first place. That depends a little bit, I would say. First on the campaign objectives, but also a little bit on the submission category. So most judges would probably say that beyond brand and vanity metrics, marketing efforts should also demonstrate business impact, which I obviously agree with. But certain cases, for example, those that look at social causes, I would say they're slightly more difficult to evaluate against hard metrics. So to me, really the most important thing when it comes to this is probably to show results and show evidence that is directly related to the objectives that the campaign set out to achieve in the beginning. My biggest bugbear, that's definitely jargon and buzzwords. Anything that has anything to do with digital transformation, but the worst ones are most probably those that try to merge different buzzwords together, like things like phygital, which I really cannot stand. What I would tell everybody is just cut the crap and keep it as simple as possible. Basically, just write like a human being. That the judges can imagine just basically talking to, and one that the judges can also just relate to on a personal level. Discounting definitely makes the case stronger, because what it shows to me is that you actually understand how the thinking and the ideas really contributed to the results. Because if your campaign, let's say, only had tactical banners, and then you were telling me that it drove key brand metrics, that's a bit of a hard sell. That's a bit difficult for me to believe. But what I also find refreshing with discounting is when it's done in a very honest manner. So, for example, admitting that there was another marketing or advertising element or initiative in market that potentially had an added impact on the results. I can appreciate that sort of honesty in the write-ups. I know relatively early on if they're going to progress in the competition or not. Obviously, that varies a little bit, but usually after the first section, usually the section that talks about the market background, the challenge that the brand is trying to overcome, and also the objectives. I think I usually get a pretty good feeling for it there. The way a paper is written definitely has an impact on me and on my decision, I would say, because apart from simplicity, I think that tone and manner makes a difference in a way on judges' view, because judges are just human beings after all. So they also want to be entertained, right? An entry that is written in a way that reflects maybe sometimes even the brand personality, or an entry that potentially doesn't take itself too seriously, that can certainly have an impression on a judge. Having said all that, though, the paper, the entry itself, still needs to have substance, right? Because a shitty case that is written very nicely is still a shitty case at the end of the day. One that I feel that is really underrated very often is to reserve enough of time for writing the actual paper. Because writing an effectiveness paper is obviously, as we all know, no easy feat, because it requires a lot of editing, writing, rewriting, then also proofreading. And then at the same time, there's also your day job that likely won't be put on hold just because it's award season right now. So I'd say, as a rule of thumb, try to reserve or give it at least 2 weeks, and probably even more time if you need to produce a case video from scratch as well. Video plays a role when it comes to plays a huge role when it comes to creative awards, but it also plays a very significant role when it comes to effectiveness awards for me. When I judge awards, see very often is basically just a video form of the written entry, which to me doesn't make sense, because usually when you judge effectiveness awards, you're reading the paper before you're looking at the awards video, at the case video anyways. So what you want to get out of the case video as a judge is to really get a better feel, a better understanding for the creative work itself, right? So I think that yes, you can have a bit of a setup in the video, and you can package it up with supers and VOs to a certain extent, but what it should really focus on is to basically let the creative work do most of the talking and let the creative shine.